Hello, hi, and welcome to the National Parents Union. I am Kelley Williams-Bolar, and this is the Parent Effect. Today, I'm so excited. We have a full half an hour of great information about voting. I have Miss Marissa. Marissa, are you on?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Fine. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for, offering the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. For those that don't know me, my name is Maritza Guridy. I am the Pennsylvania delegate for the National Parents Union. I'm also a parent, a grandparent, mother, sister, aunt, cousin, friend. Right.
That's right. And I'm so happy to know her. This woman is filled. She don't play, and she's here to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about education. Voting first. So, can you tell us what are you doing in your area as far as this voting and getting that word out?
Well, I am part of the voting committee for the National Parents Union, and we started a campaign called Every Family Votes. It is extremely important every family votes in this upcoming election. It's extremely important every family votes in every election, no matter what is coming up. If you have authorized to vote in your city and state, please do so. With the presidential election coming up, it is extremely important that everyone gets out there and gets their vote counted, whether it's going to the polls, mailing in a ballot. Just make sure that you check and find out. Go on vote.org to check and see what your registration status is. If your status is valid, great. Make sure you follow through and vote. If it is not, if it expired, it's just a matter of pressing a few buttons on a computer. You'll get a new voter registration card. And when it comes and request a mail-in ballot, if you choose to not go to the polls, but if you're going to the polls, go with that registration card and make sure your vote is counted. I also want to talk about the U.S. Census. The U.S. Census is also extremely important. A lot of people do not realize what those numbers mean. I can give you an example. In the city of Philadelphia, every person counted for the United States Census equates to $21,000 over the next 10 years. And right now, unfortunately, in the city of Philly, it's only at about 50% of the people are allowing themselves to be counted. And when I say allow, it's because they're not making sure they mail in that form, they call on the phone to the census number, that they go online to fill it out. They're not answering doors when these census people are coming to your neighborhoods. They're not asking for any money. They just want some information. It is not even uh, private information. Just want to know how many people are in the home, what are their ages. Money from the census affects how the seats in the House of Representatives. It affects congressional and state legislative districts. It affects new schools being built in our communities. It affects school lunches for our children. It affects Head Start programs for our children. It affects new hospitals and clinics in our cities and states. It affects Medicaid for older adults. It affects SNAP, food stamp benefits for families all across this country. It affects fire departments. Even businesses look at census numbers when they say, I want to build a business in a community. So all that is very important for everyone to understand. The census is very important. Now, as far as voting, the National Parents Union campaign, Every Family Votes. On the National Parents Union.org website, there is a tab for Every Family Votes. In there, we have a toolkit. The toolkit is amazing because it gives a breakdown and explains the importance of voting, what happens when a person votes, the do's and don'ts of voting. If a person is curious to see, what it is they have to do, they can click on different links in that toolkit to get more information. There's swag being offered there as well for Every Family Votes. I mean, you'd be surprised if you happen to wear a T-shirt that says Every Family Votes. People are stopping me in the street saying, what is this about? I mean, they're selling, stickers, if you want, or a button. They're selling hoodies. They're selling face masks. And it's all going for a good cause. We want to encourage families, generations of families, to go out and vote. In the previous program, I gave a suggestion. How about people have voter registration block parties? Socially distanced, of course. Gather all your neighbors outside on a nice day. Make sure everybody on your block has registered to vote. If there are people on your blocks that are leery of going in person to the polls, say, hey, Do you have your ballot? Fill it out. Gather them all up and take them to the polling place. You know, have a person that says, well, I'm going to go to the polling place. I'll gather up all my neighbors, families, and friends' ballots and take it for them. That's another way we can make sure that these numbers count. It's so important. A lot of people still don't really realize it.
Well, okay, so I have a couple of questions. One, why is it that people hesitate to give the information to census? Why do you think they don't do that? They don't.
Well, some people, because for a very brief period of time, I was a census enumerator, and I literally only did it for about 2 or 3 weeks. And the reason I stopped is because, and I made this known, I didn't feel safe going in certain areas by myself. I thought that if they had enough people applying for that role to knock on those doors that lived in the same particular zip code, that they would at least pair us up. But they have people going out there by themselves doing this job. And, you know, I live in an urban area. It's not, some of the areas are not that safe, some are. But the areas that weren't safe, I didn't feel comfortable going out there by myself, you know, knocking on strangers' doors that don't know me. So I let them know that, you know, thank you, but I'm not going to do it. But the questions are they're not intrusive. They're not asking for social security numbers. They're not asking for your income. Right. They're asking, okay, what's your name? What's your date of birth? And, you know, how many children are in the home? And that's basically it. They're not asking about anybody's status if they're in this country legally. They just want to correctly take into account of how many people are in a particular home. And you don't know how many people I ran into that said no. They said, no, thank you. I don't feel comfortable. But there are ways that, you know, I spoke to people. Some of them said yes, and they did it. You know, I had to convince them and explain to them the importance of it. And they were like, oh, okay. A lot of people don't understand the reason why. And for the reasons I said this is going to help build new schools, new hospitals, make sure that fire departments get funded, Pell Grants for kids that are going to college, the school lunches for the kids, the Head Starts. We have a very big growing population of children that are just born 4-5 years ago and still need preschool. So Head Starts are definitely needed in our communities across the country for these babies. The elderly need their Medicaid benefits. If we don't take account of how many of our elders are in the area, they're not going to take that into account.
Right. Yeah, because I know when I was coming up, like when I was growing up, I remember listening to adults say, I'm not telling them anything. I don't, you know, and I think it was so misconstrued and people didn't understand. They thought they just want to know what we're doing. The government just wants to be nosy. All that information you just gave me was a total eye opener. Like, I didn't know that all those make up how we can make our community better.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is that the information that is given cannot be shared for at least 90 years. So you're talking about whatever information is gathered today, it can't be shared. Like, specifics cannot be shared for a lifetime. Well after we're gone. You know, our kids may be, you know, grandparents by that time or great-grandparents. That's going to be when those specifics are going to be given out. Every single worker has to take an oath, a government oath. They're not going to divulge any information either under penalty of law. So it's absolutely confidential. So people, like you said, you know, I remember that too. People didn't like say, well, I didn't want to be all in my business. It's not about being in your business. It's about knowing how many people are in your community. And based on those numbers, it's how there's going to be more funds allocated. That's why I'm saddened that in the city of Philadelphia, only half the city has done it. And we have millions here. And like I said, I don't know exactly the numbers for Akron. You can look it up. Where you live, what it equates to per person, but in Philly, it's 21,000 over the next 10 years per person. And we're losing billions. Wow. It's billions of dollars that we're at risk of losing just in the city of Philadelphia alone.
And I'm sure it's very close to that here in Ohio. I'm gonna have to look it up as soon as I get off. And so next time I have you, I can have more dialogue about it. Now, I want to ask you, I just recently heard, now you said that we can have, you know, block parties or just get gatherings together to talk about it. I just recently heard that we can become registrars. Like, I can become a register But I didn't know anything about that. Do you know anything about that?
I know that I can look it up.
Like,
I mean, I do know that there definitely is a need right now for poll workers. They're really pushing because of the COVID situation. People are even afraid to work the polls. So if they're afraid to work the polls, they're not going to be able to open the polls for people to be able to go and vote in person for those that choose to do that. So a lot of things are being purposely done, and a lot of things are out of our control due to the COVID situation across the country right now. Because I've seen it. I was driving around my neighborhood yesterday, actually, and I saw several places that I know are voting locations. About half of them said that they were going to be closed. Go to this other place. So people that traditionally go to their regular polling location every election needs to make sure ahead of time so they won't be upset. Make sure your place is going to be open, because you know how people are. They'll be like, oh, well, if it's closed, I'm not going to bother looking for the other place. So I don't feel like going over there, even if it's just 2 blocks over. Just because of that, they're going to be dissuaded against voting. So people should just do it early. Find out information early. It's the best way. Vote early. You can do early voting in your state. Absolutely do that as well.
Yes. I saw on the news that they were actually uprooting mailboxes from certain areas. So, and it was like, well, what was that about? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. And it's all because of the voting. And they know that we are getting ready to come out in droves. You know, I totally believe that. I personally, me and my mom, my family, we're just doing our mail-in ballot. And this is our first year ever doing a mail-in. Normally we go there, but like you said, with the pandemic going on, we decided to take the other route. And what I do know is in our area, we should have it by I believe it's the 20th of this month. We should have our form to get ready to mail it back in, but it should be here no later than the 20th of September in our area.
You should find out if in your area they're going to have the actual ballot mailboxes. So that way you can just drop
Say that again.
A ballot mailbox. Okay. Several cities, like in Philly, they have it. I know they have it in Newark, New Jersey, where the actual office for the electorate, they went ahead and approved. If it was approved by the city and state or county, that they have ballot mailboxes in certain areas of your city where you can take it there directly, and someone from that deals with the electoral voting process goes to pick those ballots up instead of it going through the United States Postal Service. So that's another option as well. You know, or if you know where the actual votes are being counted, take it there yourself, or take a pack of it yourself there, so you know that somebody that is supposed to responsibly handle that information has it in their hands, and you know the votes are going to get counted. Because what I would hate is for somebody to find weeks later after the election that they found hundreds, thousands of mail-in ballots that were uncounted because somebody purposely did something. That's what people are afraid of, and that's what we want to make sure people don't, let go of that fear. If you can't go in person, that's fine, but find out where it can be taken directly, so you don't have to worry about it. Oh, what if someone from the Postal Service dumps that bag of mail somewhere? Instead of taking it where it's supposed to go. I mean, I know many postal workers are honest people, but some of them are not. And I found that there's actually a way they can see based on the serial number on the envelope. If you see that it has a D or an R, they'll be able to tell if you're Democrat or Republican. Yep. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Because I've heard that over the years that people have lost all of these votes, and they were somewhere else, and then by that point, we already, that's crazy. But I want to ask you too, so I want to get a shirt. So how, someone wants to get a shirt, how do they do it? Where do they go?
They can go into the Every Family Votes tab in the National Parents Union webpage. And on there, the company is called TeePublic, actually tpublic.com. And they give them, the size options, the color options, the price options is all there, and they'll take PayPal as well. People that aren't comfortable with putting in their debit or credit card information, because that's what I did. I went in for another order now, because I ordered a t-shirt initially and some stickers, and I got a long sleeve shirt, another t-shirt. I think I got a face mask this time, so I'm waiting for that to come in the next week or so I can, rock it out and let, get noticed more for that too.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to get me a shirt. I might get the whole game. I might get the face mask, the hat, and the shirt because I want to represent, I want to ask you about you said you have your grandbaby. So are any of your children still in school too?
I have 4 children that are still in school. My 15-year-old daughter is a 10th grader. I have a 6-year-old as a 1st grader. And we have 2 little ones that are 4 years old. They're going to be going into their 2nd year of preschool, and we're waiting for the school district to process their applications because I'm actually going to have them be, whenever we do open up, they're actually, my 1st grade and the 2 4-year-olds are going to be in the same building with me at the school I work out of. So
yeah, that's right, because you are,
yes,
okay, I know you are so excited.
Yes, it's been,
that is awesome. Now, how are you? Okay, so your teens, how the 10th grader, how is she doing with doing this from home? Is she on point? Is she kind of lagging? Is she upset about the internet? How's everything going?
When it first happened in March, I have to admit she was a little bit anxious about it because that was her 1st year of high school. Just getting to get into the flow of, going to different classrooms for every period, making new friends, making friends that are various ages, not just a year or 2 younger or older than her. So she was getting into the swing of things, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit and everything shut down. We did everything we could to keep her busy. She was able to, she volunteered for a bit and ended up working over the summer. So she kept pretty busy. And because she's very, she's at that age where all kids that are 15, 16 and up, they're very technologically advanced. She doesn't mind being on Zoom. She understands. She even helped my husband get the little one on the computer when she finally started doing her virtual learning last week. So she's been a help. But she has a full course load. She stays up in her room, and she only comes down during lunch, goes right back upstairs, does what she has to do. I mean, she's getting used to it. I mean, and it's a little harder for her because she goes to Kappa, which is the high school performing arts here in Philadelphia. So this is a performing arts school. I mean, the majority of the students do things like sing, act, dance, the art sculptures, they're artists, painters. So it's kind of, what they're doing is amazing because they have to create a curriculum virtually for children that are used to being in groups, dancing, acting, and doing all that they do. It's an amazing feat, and I really do give a lot of props to these teachers that are really trying to keep the children engaged, because when I tell you, it's one thing when you see your own child in your house sitting up paying attention, if it's 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 children. But when you have one person trying to do a Zoom call with 30 children at the same time, Kelley, when I hear it, because one of the newer teachers at my school sat behind me at a desk in my office, and I'm listening to her trying to wrangle in 7th graders, 24 graders. Now, there are rules. You have to be dressed. You have to, you can't be in your pajamas. You can't be laying on your bed. Right. You you have to wear, a shirt. And it's a struggle. Mm-hmm. It's a struggle. And then the big situation with some of these children some of these teens and preteens are giving their friends the call-in number or giving them the link, and they're jumping in. And the teacher, unfortunately, understand that I can lock my class so nobody can get in, or I can mute the entire class while I'm instructing everybody. So you hear all kinds of things. Right. So if there are any kind of disciplinary deans, you see them running around making phone calls. I need to speak to so-and-so's mom. I need to speak to so-and-so's dad. Sir, ma'am, your son and daughter, they're on this Zoom call, and their behavior is unacceptable. We had to kick them out the class. It's been, it's a very big learning curve right now.
Yes, it is. It really is. You know, I work in a classroom, and so today we had one boy. He comes on, and I think that he just believes that he can hurry up. He can do it, hurry up, and get off.
Yeah.
That's his goal. You know, he's like, okay, what do you need me to do? Okay, all right, I'm done. And can I go? And it's like, no, we got other assignments or other things you must complete. And then he'll pop in when he's not supposed to pop in. He's supposed to be in biology, but he'll pop in. Matter of fact, we have several of them that'll pop in, and it's like you have to. And they want us to look at their schedule, which we have their schedule, but we're trying to teach them responsibility.
Yeah.
So we make it, no, you go check your schedule. It's right there on the computer. If you know how to get back to our room, because our room is like a homeroom for the kids. So they feel, because I'm in a behavior classroom, special studies classroom. So we're like a home base for them. So anything, when they have a behavior in a regular ed class, they have, when we're physically at the school, then they always come, we are like home base. They always back to our classroom. So they feel like they can still do that. So here we are teaching another, maybe a whole different grade. And then maybe a 10th grader pop in, hey, I'm here. And it's like, no, go to where you're supposed to be. Or sometimes it was so funny this morning, one boy jumped on, he said, hurry up, because I got to get back to sleep. And it's like, no, you have to have the straight face. You gotta act, very professional. It's like, no, not what we're doing today. You gotta, follow we call them norms, follow our norms, so you can, do right, and get yourself together. But these kids are funny, and it's a whole new wave, even for us. Of course, this is uncharted territory, but it's still, it's going to be so interesting. And I honestly, my perspective, I think it'll probably be like this for the entire school year. What's your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Me personally, I know I feel for the parents. The children, children are more adaptable, I feel. They can roll with it. Not every parent knows how to do that. Not every parent has the ability to stay home with their children. So I do
Right.
feel for them. Today we were blessed with a tech person. We will have a tech person in my school 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday. So when parents are losing their minds saying, I can't get on this Chromebook, I don't understand Zoom, I don't understand Google Meet, I'm about to throw this computer out the window, I say, no. When they call, can you please come into the school? Make sure you wear your mask. We have a person here. And if they say I can't, okay, if she's free, I'll put her on the phone, but she's right next to me. She became my best friend today. I was like, honey, I need you to sit here. And as the calls come in, as the parents in the door, they did, and we're showing them one by one. This is how you do it. This is how you get on. This is how you log onto your child's class. Because, I understand it for those that have a child that's in 2nd grade, 1st grade, and kinder. I absolutely understand. The older children, they're more used to it. They got on it back in March. They just had to remember what their password was because they didn't touch their Chromebook since May. It's going to be it's a learning process. The hope is that for the city of Philadelphia, they have it until November 17th. That's the date in which they're going to decide either continue the same way through January or they start bringing in the children hybrid.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, whichever two they're going to do, it has to happen. The children need to be educated no matter what. So like I said,
That's right.
I give it to them and I say, listen, parents are calling me, they're irate, they're mad. I say, listen, I understand your frustration. Vent if you need to, but please understand, I am not a technical person. I'm not an IT person. I am the school secretary. I will explain to you what was explained to me. And if you need further help, you're free to come into the building. But I'm only committed 3 hours a day. I actually said I'll be there 3 hours a day in the building to see people. Then after that, I can either work from home or stay in the office quietly without anybody, coming at the door. But we're only doing what we can do.
Exactly. And another thing, if you know parents are watching or that understand what we're talking about, we totally we totally have truth for you, because first of all, even with me, and I was trained 3 weeks before school started. Still was nervous, still didn't understand everything. And there's teachers that still are nervous, and they're like, okay, we're still, you know, of course you get, you know, we're in it now, and we got to make sure that we remember and retrieve all this information, but it's a lot of information. So we totally understand. We're all just trying to get through this together. Even some of our students are, their Wi-Fi is lagging so much because everybody's on it at the same time. It's pulling and pulling. So my recommendation many times is first thing in the morning, reboot your computer, reboot your Wi-Fi. That's if you can reboot Wi-Fi for the day, because you know your children are going to be on that computer learning. Reboot that. That's one thing. And make sure you and make sure even your phones or even your small electronics, make sure that you're not, you know, if you're not using them, make sure that everything, all the apps are not being just running for no reason, because all those things contribute to your children having the best potential learning experience for that day. So I definitely just wanted to get that in there, because we have so much we try to do that, and this is so difficult sometimes. The computers lag.
Just turn the Wi-Fi off. If you have extra tablets in your house, turn the Wi-Fi setting off. Turn it off on your phones. Just allow your child to concentrate and get the information that they need. And I mean, I don't know what's going on in your city, but here we have been given hotspots for students that really do need it. So our parents, if they call and say, listen, I don't have Wi-Fi in my home, what can I do? We tell them, come into the school and get that hotspot. Now, that Comcast Essentials, you know, some families are able to get it, but there are many families that still cannot afford it. So, you know, they're doing what they can do. So we tell them, hey, come and get this hotspot. And I become very stern with the families when they come in. And I say, listen, do you really have Wi-Fi in your home? Because if you really have it, please allow this hotspot to go to someone that does not. Don't just get it because you want to be out with your kids, you know, running around with that hotspot. And I'm very honest with them. I say, listen, I'm not being mean, but I'm being honest. If you have Wi-Fi in your home, your child needs to be home while they're going to school on that computer. And yes, they have to be there all day. Yes, they have to have their camera on. They have to see you. You know, here, our school, bent the rules a little bit as far as having to have a uniform, because they're home. They're realistic. We're not in a uniform. Just make sure they're dressed. Make sure they're dressed. Don't have your baby come on screen with their pajamas on. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to yourself.
I know. Because you're preparing them. Right. You're preparing them for adulthood. And if you let them go, just appear any kind of way, they may think eventually that's how they can live their life. And that's just not the way that's just not reality, you know? And first of all, I just want to say it again, how much I appreciate you and all that you do. You are a heavy hitter in the National Parents Union. I just love all the delegates. Everybody is just awesome. You are one of my favorites. And when whoever's listening in, she has her own show. Please make sure you tune into it. What is the name of your show?
My name of my show is called Looped In with Maritza. It's on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I talk about everything that's important, you know, regarding education, regarding social justice, you know, specifically to the city of Philadelphia and the state of Pennsylvania. Yes, honey. You have to go.
Hi, sweetie.
Say hi. Say hello.
Hey, honey, how are you?
She's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, go ahead.
So sweet.
Go
So sweet.
They got used to seeing me all day, and now the past 3 weeks, mommy's going to work. So it's like, it's soon it's going to be that time. We keep them on the schedule. So, but yes, Looped In with Maritza, 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, Eastern Standard Time. I have a myriad of guests. I mean, I can't wait for my guests this coming Wednesday. It's going to be one of the 8 Black Hands. It's going to be Mr. Ray. He's going to be on the show on Wednesday. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Wow, I'm tuning in.
Yes, it's going to be excited to have them on there. And then after that, we're going to end up having Brother Sharif as well. So I'm trying to get all of the 8 Black Hands eventually. If not one at a time, I'm going to eventually get all 4 of them on my show. I'm going to hound them. I'm going to bug them. But listen.
That is awesome.
I want
some powerful words. That is awesome. I can't wait. Right, that's right. I will be tuning in. Before I go, thank you all for coming in. I just always wish everyone health and happiness. I just appreciate everyone for coming to our National Parents Union and checking out our organization. Always know that you can become a member. It doesn't cost anything. But let me tell you something, you become a member, you got a force to be reckoned with behind you, to stand behind you. So just understand that. Go to nationalparentsunion.org, look up the membership, go ahead and fill out the paperwork and become a member so you can have somebody. This is a organization that will stand with you as a parent, a grandparent, a mom, a dad, auntie, uncle, cousin, friends, whatever. They are there for you. Our delegates, Marissa's one, I'm a delegate. It's many, many more. Check us out, pay attention, make sure you woke on what's going on out here with our children. And we just want to say thank you. Marissa, is there any last words that you would like to say before we end our show?
Register to vote. If you've registered already, send in that ballot. If you can register, if you can vote early, do so. If you have not done your census, please do so. Ask your family and friends if they've done it. It only takes 10 minutes and it counts as so much. Be represented. May you say hi? Say hi, Miss Kelley.
Hey, baby. Oh, they are beautiful.
They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be okay. They want the limelight. They want it.
Yeah. Oh, they're sweet. They're great. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too, honey. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.